It's a trap!
Hey, welcome back to the Resistance Base. The base is open because it is time for the Rumor and Theory review brought to you by Star Wars Newsnet and the Resistance Broadcast patrons. I'm John. How are you guys? Thanks so much. We have a great show here for you. Again, I said end theory review because we are adding theories now to the mix on this show. So in addition to all the rumors running rampant around the internet about Star Wars, we're also going to get into some popular theories that have been tossed around, and I'll give my take on them, and we'll see what happens. But welcome to the show. First, I want to start off by testing out my psychic abilities, as always, my tribute to Johnny Carson called Johnack. And what I'm going to do here is guess what I think the answer is to the question that is sealed in this envelope. So I have no idea what the question is in this envelope, and I'm going to try to answer it anyway using my psychic ability. So here we go. A lot of fun, very interactive, with awesome guests and cool giveaways. Okay, let's see what the question is. It's a pretty long answer. It just came to my mind. So the question was, describe your upcoming show, the Mando Fan Show. So, all right, that sounds like a good time. So, I guess while I have you, make sure you do tune in to the Mando Fan Show, which is going to be our show that takes place after every episode of The Mandalorian on the Star Wars Newsnet YouTube channel, and then thereafter on the podcast feeds if you're inclined for the audio version. But I definitely advise checking out the YouTube version. We start on Tuesday, obviously, when The Mandalorian premieres, and we're also going to pick it up again on Friday, where we're going to have our first guest, and we'll get into that later. But we're going to have a good time on that show. Some giveaways, as I talked about, but also a lot of interactive stuff with you guys using the hashtag MandoFando. And we're going to rate the episodes and talk about them and speculate and have a great time. So join us on the Mando Fan Show that's starting this upcoming week. All right, now for the reason why you're here, the Rumor and Theory review. The first one, let's start off with a theory, right? So there was a report saying that the first episode, speaking of The Mandalorian, the first episode of The Mandalorian was going to have an in-universe spoiler. And a lot of people said, it's got to be something clarifying that the Mandalorian is not Boba Fett, so it's going to reveal the fate of Boba Fett, something like that. So that's been the hot theory going around about this reported in-universe spoiler that's supposed to take place in the pilot episode of The Mandalorian. So I was thinking about that, and I think it's a great theory. I think it's the best theory out there about this for this potential spoiler. I'm having a hard time holding on to it, though, because if you just out of the gate squash Boba Fett, and I'm not saying he's going to have anything to do with this series necessarily, but if you just squash Boba Fett immediately, I think that just puts a damper on everything that people have wanted, which is more of this character somewhere in the universe, somewhere down the line. Now, of course, you can still say, oh, Boba Fett was definitely dead in the Sarlacc pit, his remains were found, or something like that to get that out of the way, and still go back in time around the Solo era, hashtag make Solo 2 happen, and have Boba Fett working with Jabba the Hutt and Han Solo and that sort of thing. So that's still possible. But just thinking about this theory alone, are they going to address Boba Fett in the show about The Mandalorian? I don't know. I'm having a hard time believing that. But I don't have a better theory. So that's why I say I think that's the best theory that's been going around. I mean, we'll find out in a couple days, but we'll see. I can't 100% get behind that theory yet. But as I say, it's a great one. So good job to all of you out there, whoever came up with that and have been rallying around that one. We'll find out.
Yeah? Good.
Okay, now into rumors. Things got crazy real quick because I've been having a hard time finding rumors because we're so close to actual content. And anytime you're this close to actual content being released, a lot of the rumors kind of scamper away when the lights turn on, like cockroaches, right? Because they know if you put rumors out this close, people will remember the rumors as opposed to if you do it a year ago and people forget that you were wrong and blah, blah, blah. So a lot of it has to do with clickbait culture and that sort of thing. And you don't want to release your rumors, your made-up stories and all this stuff to get your clicks when it's this close to being disproven when the content comes out. So that's why you notice anytime releases are about to come out, a lot of rumors don't usually come out. But we did have some come out, and this has to do with The Rise of Skywalker. The Rise of Skywalker has had test screenings with test audiences that include diehard Star Wars fans, casual Star Wars fans, and casual moviegoers with multiple different endings to try to test how the audience feels about the movie. First off, this is completely false. I've checked in with a couple of people who would know about this, who have said that Star Wars doesn't do this sort of thing. J.J. Abrams definitely wouldn't do this sort of thing. And the idea of releasing multiple endings to a test screening for test audiences, you're just asking for trouble. Because think about how leaks come out from behind sealed walls with big projects, let alone if you actually show footage or a movie to test audiences. Someone's going to sneak a phone or a camera or write things down. A lot more would come out about this if it was true that they did these test screenings. So you don't hear about anybody saying I was at a test screening. So really think about that. Were these people like sealed away somewhere until the movie comes out? So not only were there not test screenings, but that kind of hurts the follow-up theories here. That George Lucas, the maker, thank the maker, we all do, we love George Lucas. He created Star Wars. He's the reason I'm sitting here talking about Star Wars right now for you guys. So we'll never forget George Lucas and what he created and what he did for the franchise. But George is gone. He's not creating Star Wars anymore. Does he visit the sets? Of course. He visited Solo, and he gave his thoughts on how Han should hang up a coat and that sort of thing, and he likes to check things out and give his little thoughts and approvals and that sort of deal. But he's not creating content or fixing anything. So what's funny about this next rumor here is that they're saying George Lucas not only showed up, but he came in to save the day for The Rise of Skywalker and rewrote the story last minute for reshoots that created a different ending and saved the day because J.J. Abrams couldn't do it. Now really think about that for a second. First of all, like I said, I love George Lucas just as much as anybody. He created the greatest franchise, our new mythology, the greatest movie franchise in the history of the world, a wonderful storyteller and creator. Not the best dialogue writer though, right? A lot of his best movies were written by other people. So I would say he knows how to tell stories, create worlds, build worlds. But when it comes to writing, actual dialogue and scripts, not his biggest forte. So it's odd that they took this angle and said George Lucas came in to rewrite the script and rewrite the story and how it ended because J.J. Abrams couldn't handle it and they wrote a bad ending. So that's just insane to me. And then on top of that, the cherry on top of that is that they said he created a new secret Skywalker that they're introducing in episode 9. A secret Skywalker? What? Come on. How much retconning would you have to do to make that happen? So I think we've reached the boiling point where we're this close to episode 9 coming out. It's been years of build-up from when this trilogy started in 2015 to The Last Jedi and then what's going to happen now. Take that back further, over 40 years, if you want to say this whole story started about 42 years ago, to say that now in this final movie, after all these stories, the prequels, Anakin, the Chosen One, coming up, turning to the dark side, his son battling him, bringing him back to the light, destroying the Emperor, sort of destroying the Emperor apparently, and then now taking on to this new generation. But now all of a sudden in the last movie, they're going to wedge in a secret Skywalker? That is something that you see in bad action movies or bad mystery movies or a Scream sequel. Have you ever seen those Scream movies where all of a sudden they're like, all right, so we're in the 7th Scream movie. It was this person's cousin who had a twin brother and they're the killer. Come on, guys. This is Star Wars. They're not introducing a secret Skywalker in the last second here to retcon everything just for the sake of some big twist and big surprise. It's not an M. Night Shyamalan movie. Not every Star Wars movie is going to have a major twist. The I Am Your Father thing really took the cake and really made us run with that. But this is all just silly to me. First off, the test screenings. They didn't do test screenings for The Rise of Skywalker. So we could just squash that out of the conversation completely. Is it possible JJ had ideas for different endings and maybe filmed multiple things and decided which one to go with? Yes, I think that's very possible. But showing it to the public to see their feedback on it didn't happen. And then bringing in like George Lucas having to come in to save the day is just something to feed people who hate post-George Lucas Star Wars and to say, see, he did come in to save the day, just in case they happen to like this movie and they'll give that as the reason. But This is all tinfoil hat stuff, guys, and I can't get behind that. But I hope you guys did enjoy this version of the Rumor and Theory review. Starting off with my prediction that the Mando fan show is going to be a good time, so check that out next week. But the theory on the Boba Fett thing, let me know what you think. Do you think it's possible that the first episode of The Mandalorian, this whole spoiler thing that they're talking about, is addressing the fate of Boba Fett? I think it's possible, but I can't fully get behind it. But as I said, I do think it's a great theory, so good job to all of you out there who've been running with that one. And then this whole thing again with the test screenings and the George Lucas and the Secret Skywalker.
Move along.
Crumple it all. And that's it for that. So I'm bringing back the paper throwing, but thank you guys so much for all of your support. Star Wars Newsnet readers and listeners, anyone who's been new to the channel, make sure you do subscribe to us. And if you're heading over to the Mando Fan Show this coming week, get in the comments, get involved, tweet out #MandoFando, and a very special thanks to all of our Resistance Broadcast patrons. You're the reason I'm able to do these types of videos. You have no idea the time and effort it takes us sometimes, and also just the quality productions we're able to make for you. So thank you all so much for your support. It means a great deal to us. And I'll be back with you guys on the podcast Monday morning. And of course, the Mando Fan Show, which starts Tuesday night. So we have a busy week ahead of us, and I can't wait for you guys to join us. The base is going to be open a lot. So come on in, and until then, I'll see you around, kids.